Welcome to Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association. You can find us at LCARA.net, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Hello, folks. This is Chris, KY4CKP. Well, we got out at field day this year, and just like we have for our club for many years and many decades, even 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and we were out again this year, working with our comms trailer, continuing to work on it as we'll see, and testing our equipment. And that's largely what this field day, summer field day, winter field days are about, is actually getting out there, setting up your equipment, testing it, making sure you've got everything you need and that it works, and that we can then have some fun as well, and some camaraderie with our fellow hams and our club members, and also visitors. As we saw, we had a visitor stop by. And so the weather was not real great in a lot of parts of the country, and that was true here in central Kentucky. But we persevered through the rain and the wind and some thunder and things early on, and the day did get better. We had four main stations set up at our field day for LCARA, Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association. Richard had his 2 meter and 70 centimeter radio set up with his portable J-pole there, and Brian KY4 BDP had his Yaesu FT818. I had my FT891, and then Don, our club president, had his Kenwood TS480 SAT. Multiple antennas. Again, we rolled the comm trailer out of the barn. Of course, it's set up for multiple antennas, and we have a lot of the equipment for that as well. And we've continued working on that comm trailer leading up to field day. As you know, we did a video getting it cleaned up, getting the electronics cleaned up, just continuing to improve on it as time goes on, and getting it ready so that we can attach the shore power in multiple ways, generator power and things like that. So we were pretty well ready to go. We got things set up. Had good food. Ben was on the grill, and some other folks. We brought in some food. Had a good time. Had a visitor who found us. He's in town visiting family, Bill and his son, and found us on the internet, and stopped by and got on the air for a little while as well. So again, that's a big part of what it's all about. So just testing our equipment and making sure it works, and we can get on the air and also have some fun. So here's a brief audio.
Lima Charlie Alpha.
Juliet Bravo Romeo, was that a Whiskey 5? One Alpha in Arkansas, QSL, copy 2 Alpha, November, Lima, India, QSL. Thank you very much, QRZ, this is Kilowatt 2, Echo Charlie.
November 4, Lima Charlie Alpha.
The Zulu Kilo, let's try you.
Somebody's right on top of me. I love it when you're trying to call somebody and they keep calling CQ because they're not hearing anything. They're not hearing me.
All right, and again, folks, one of the things that was very prominent and very noticeable about being at field day, because for Brian and myself, this was our first field days, and we've seen this sort of phenomena before, just on busy contest days in the past year and a half or so that he and I have been into amateur radio. How busy and how tight the bands can become. And you could find plenty of very strong signals with the various antennas and radios we were running. But what was so common was the QRM. You were almost always hearing the station above your frequency, and many times a station below your frequency. So you were on your frequency and you were hearing two others much of the time, which did make it a little bit of a challenge. But again, not that unusual for contest days and things like that. And of course, field days, the summer field day, winter field days are also contest days. Again, folks trying to have that aspect of the hobby and enjoy that and have fun with that. We weren't really doing the contest part of it per se, but we definitely made some contacts and fully tested our equipment and ran our equipment again on battery power for I don't know, 6-7 hours, something like that, and all of us still had power to spare. So testing our equipment, continuing to fine tune it, continuing to work on our LCARA club assets like the Incom trailer, and working with our equipment, learning what we have and how to use it. And we encourage all of our members to do that and participate in that. Brian and I are doing it because we're newer and going to document as much of that as we can and share that with everybody. And we had quite a few folks at field day. Again, Ben was on the fire producing dogs and things. Lots of good food and had a good time. And appreciate everybody that showed up for that. And again, I'm looking forward now to Winter Field Day. I think Brian is as well. Really hoping that our work schedules are going to coordinate with that, and we can enjoy that and get some folks out, because for that one, just like we have an air conditioner that we can use in the comms trailer, we didn't need it for this summer field day. It was a fairly cool day with the storms, but we can also run heat, and so having that trailer is a really great asset for the club, and we can use it pretty well year round for things, and that's one reason Brian and I have been enjoying working with it and getting it back on the road, and even getting it out. Just to make sure it is in that good shape and that it is a good solid asset for the club as a whole. So again, we all had a good time. We got our equipment out, multiple stations, 3 HF and one 2 meter 70 centimeter station, multiple antenna scenarios, and battery powered operation scenarios. I had some solar panels with me. Wasn't really a solar panel kind of a day. Didn't need them, but I would have set them up and just kind of kept my stuff topped off a little bit. And The club has some solar panels we're going to be looking to make ready and available for the batteries that we have in the comms trailer as well. And that'll be some ongoing projects that we'll document when they come up. And and other things. We'll be on the bench with Don as much as we can, and other folks. So we just wanted to bring you this video, remind you a little bit of the history of the club. It's been around for a long time, as many of you know, of course. And Brian and I appreciate the history that's there and the knowledge that's there that we can tap into and learn things and get into it for ourselves. So as we begin to head into the home stretch for this little video and begin to wrap things up, we'll be ending with a couple of quick contacts that Brian made. Again, remember he was QRP on his FT818, 656 watts, and I was on my 891, and I ran at 50 watts, I think, for my first two contacts, and then I think I had bumped up to 75 watts towards the end, partially just testing out my little power unit there to see if it would handle it, which it seemed to do just fine. And the Kenwood was probably running somewhere 80 to 100 watts for HF. So we've got a couple of little contacts we'll just leave you with as we finish things for this little video. We appreciate everybody. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, and leave us your comments. Let us know what you'd like to see. We do have plenty of ideas still coming up, but we want to hear what everybody wants to see and have us cover, and we'll get into those as best we can. And we'll get to you folks again later. So 73.
Whiskey Echo again. Something Whiskey Echo. QRZ Field Day, Whiskey 2, Oscar Romeo Charlie.
November 4, Lima Charlie Alpha.
Something Alpha again.
November 4, Lima Charlie Alpha.
November 4, Lima Charlie Alpha, 2 Foxtrot, Western New York.
3 Bravo, Kilo Yankee.
QSL 3 Bravo, Kentucky, 73s and good luck. QSS Field Day, Whiskey 2, Oscar Romeo Charlie. Alpha, November Lima, India.
Lima Charlie Alpha, Alpha, 3 Bravo, Kentucky.
Alright, LC Alpha and 3 Bravo, Kentucky.